Jasmine Jasovizzi is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.
The Darce choke is a submission executed from the front headlock position. It involves encircling the opponent's neck with the crook of one's arm, while the other arm wraps around the opponent's arm, applying pressure, leading to a tap or unconsciousness.
Tap into the Darce podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the first ever Darce podcast live episode. UFC 311 talk for you. Best bets and breakdowns. I'm doing it with my guys, Mr. Plus Money, Slick Montana, and Cal on the ones and twos, aka Game Change Hub. And we are ready to rock. Everyone that's with us live, salute to you. Thanks for joining the show. Smack that like button on your way in. And be sure to fire away in the comments. We want to know, what are your bets on this card? What questions do you have? We're here to talk about it. So let us know, and we'll be firing away and acknowledging you in the chat. Fellas, coming off a nice, awesome first event to start the 2025 UFC season. Came away profitable. And although my Brasco breakdown got smoked real quick, the parlay bust didn't come through. Slick report, 8 out of the last 9, and a lot of other plays. If you tapped in with us on our social medias, you see the handles down here. Be sure to follow my guys, and you get all of our plays and everything we're putting out. Fight night. That's why you're here, to talk 311. Makhachev, Tsarukyan, Dvalishvili, Nurmagomedov. I mean, fellas, we have so many amazing matchups to talk about. So, plus, I love kicking it out with you. We talk 3 right away. All aboard the Mr. Plus Parlay Bus. Let's roll.
Man, Mr. Plus, Parlay Bus, bet it all in trust. Jabs and hooks, it's all about the rush. Put it down on the underdog, never hush. Odds stack high, feel the thrill, that's a must. And I'll see you when that shit cashes.
Let's go.
You're totally right. I didn't want to talk about last week. Last week is absolutely over. I did hit some big plus money parlays. However, or not parlays, some big plus money lays. Here we go. Let's crash this bus right into the cash counter this week for UFC 311. For leg number 1, I'm starting off with my guy. I thought he was going to win his last fight, but oh boy, he got kneed to the shadow realm. I'm talking about my guy, Bernardo Sopai. This kid is a prime striker, and guess who he's going against? Fade monster karate kid Ricky Tercios. Bro, this kid's gonna have a speed advantage. He was on the wrong side of that KO, obviously needed a face. However, I still think he's gonna crush somebody like Tercios. Tercios is awkward, but he's slow. I think Sopai could beat him standing, and I think if they grapple, well, he's gonna be the stronger man in the octagon. Give me Sopai by knockout or decision for leg number 1. For leg number 2 of the bus, I'm going right to my boy who likes money, Moicano. Listen, he's the younger 35-year-old. That's just the facts, man. And I think that he could truly eventually be champ. Dariush on the other side, he kind of climbed up. Now he's on the downward slump. I just think that Moicano seems dominant in this weight class, man. He's one of the best in the division. He's on a crazy win streak, and the trend is too consistent to bet against. I'm definitely going against Dariush. His aging is way too obvious. I won't be surprised if this might be his last fight if he gets fucked up bad enough. Give me Moicano for leg number 2 on the parlay bus. And for leg number 3, you guys are going to like this one. And still, I know my boys might be sprinkling a little bit of units on the other side here. And listen, if this is the last leg of the bus, it might be smart for us to sprinkle a little bit on the dog. But I'm taking Islam Makhachev, the Dagestani golden boy. Let's be honest, Khabib passed him the torch, and he's running away with it. This could be his 5th title defense in a row. Man, he just defeated Poirier, Volk twice, Oliveira right before that, and it seemed like at that point in time, Oliveira kind of was in his prime. Arman is great, don't get me wrong, he's a talent. Maybe he's a future champ, but right now, where we are, I think Islam takes it. He gets his belt back. He takes it back to his farm, rides a horse into the wind and the sunset, and yeah, Let me just repeat the bus one more time. Give me Sopaj. That's Sopaj, S-O-P-A-J. Money Moicano and Islam Makhachev. And I'll see you when that shit cashes.
The parlay bus is plus 175 this week. And Bernardo Sopaj, Renato Moicano, Islam Makhachev, the 3 legs for him. Man, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk more about Moicano in my segment. Little spoiler alert, the Brasco breakdown. We'll, of course, talk more about the main event later on. But let's kick things right off with one of the first fights of the night. Slick, Bernardo Sopaj, like Mr. Plus mentioned, the drink in hand. I like it. Anyone's watching the show with the drink. Clinks up. Let's go. Dude, he was looking good against Vinicius Oliveira, who put him away with that crazy flying knee. But Sopaj surprised a lot of people. Sneaky good grappling, speedy striking, technical. He looked like he had a lot of MMA skills. So he's a big favorite against Tercios, who Mr. Plus called the fade monster. Are you ready to just fade Tercios at all costs, Slick?
Yeah, man, this is just an opportunity that, like Mr. Plus said, we have to fade Ricky Tercios. He's one of those guys that is just okay with losing. He's one like he's just like as long as he makes it a fight, I believe in his mind he's okay with losing. He's one of those guys that also Sopaj took that fight on like 4 days notice against Oliveira. Actually won the first 2 rounds on the judges' scorecards, and then just completely gassed out. I also believe Oliveira leg kicks played a huge dividend in that fight. You know, start eating up on him after the 3rd round, and that's what ended up getting him need. I just think this is a good opportunity for Sopaj. I just don't know how he gets the fight. You know, he could win by KO, he could win by sub, he could win by decision, you know, because we've seen him. One thing I like about him, too, is that he doesn't really attack the submissions when he's able to get on top. I think this is a good opportunity for him to bounce back. It's always fade Tercios for me. And also, he also been training with a lot of good fighters in that Khabib camp as well. I've seen him in a lot of his Instagram posts and stuff like that, training with guys like Khabib and Umar and those guys. So I think he's ready to bounce back against a guy like Tercios that really offers no type of threat unless like maybe like a Hail Mary armbar from guard or something like that. He doesn't really have power. I think he got 1 knockout out of all his fights, so this is a good bounce back spot for Sopaj.
Yeah, man. I feel like Tercios has like the heart and toughness to like make it a competitive fight against lesser guys. Sopaj is a level above him, and like you said, he was beating Vinicius Oliveira, who, by the way, went on to beat Ricky Simón pretty handily, so that's not a bad loss at all, and he was beating him. Love that leg. Moicano, I'll save a little bit for my own chat later on. Slick, I'll let you take it. I mean, Mr. Plus, I love it. Slick, what do you think about Money Moicano in this spot?
Yeah, this is like Mr. Plus said. This is just a guy that's been looking like an aged veteran in Dariush. He also been talking about retirement talks in his interviews leading up to this fight. So I just believe that Moicano lands something big. Or the one thing that I think a lot of people are underestimating, I understand Dariush is a good jiu-jitsu guy, but I just think the power that Renato Moicano probably in those exchanges, in those grappling exchanges, he's going to land punches. He's going to land hammer fists. He's going to land something. He's just not going to let Dariush just make it a scramble fest. And Dariush, for real, he just really hasn't shown me that that chin is going to come recovered. So I'll probably lean Dariush, but this is another fight that I just don't know what's going to happen. You know, Dariush is one of those guys that he can land something on Moicano. Well, Moicano only been knocked out at featherweight against Jose Aldo and Korean Zombie, and then at this weight class, he only been knocked out by Fiziev. So I think this is a good spot for Moicano, but I just don't know how I'm gonna play him either.
Right. I mean, if Jalen Turner can hit him like that and he survived that and then went on to just completely flip the fight on him, like Moicano was nasty and damaging. I agree with you. I don't think Dariush can stand up to him, regardless of how skilled he is. I don't think the fight comes down to skill. I think Moicano just wants it more than a lot of people. And yeah, gotta love it. And then Islam Makhachev, Slick, we'll talk more in the main event. So save your thoughts there. That's going to be his last leg. It's the main event of the night. So love to have the last leg of a parlay on the last fight. And Mr. Plus Bus is plus 175. All aboard. Let's cash for him. And we broke them down. Good fights there, man. Well, we mentioned it already, guys. 8 out of the last 9 on My Guy Slick segment have cash. So all salute to the Slick Report. Break me down.
Philly in the game, and you know we on time. Slip reports coming, ain't never gonna stop. MMA captains with the knowledge and the flow. From the East Coast, getting that paper like a Philly bankroll. Rocking every fight, keep the audience on hold.
Yeah, we gonna go, man. We've been hot, man. The Slick Report has been hot. Either chalk or no chalk, plus money or not plus money. We've been scorching. At the end of the day, this is a card that really doesn't really have a lot of straight bets that that you really want to look at and stuff like that. A lot of you look at it as like parlay legs and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give you a flip of the coin right here. I'm going with Jamal Hill in this spot, money line. He's like minus 112 right now, minus 115. I just think this comes down to whoever lands the more powerful punch in the early rounds. This is one of those guys that Jamal Hill, I just think he's been real underrated outside of that Alex Pereira knockout. This is Yuri that doesn't have no striking defense. Jamal Hill at least cares for some striking defense. I just don't believe that Yuri is in that pedestal. Also, the one thing that really concerned me was that Yuri was in talks about going down to middleweight at 185. Now he's made up his mind. Now he's fighting at 205 because they probably gave him like maybe an opportunity if he beats Jamal Hill. I just think this is just a good opportunity for Jamal Hill to bounce back. One thing I really dislike about Yuri too is that he does dip his head down to the side and either side. Jamal Hill has good underrated head kicks, good underrated body kicks. So I think this is a good spot for Jamal Hill to bounce back and maybe get Alex later on in the year if Alex passes his test as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill for the Slick Report, and I think he knocks out Yuri probably in the first or second round.
Jamal, sweet dreams, Hill, delivering the dreams perhaps to Yuri Prochazka. Hill by knockout plus 210 right now on FanDuel is the best line I saw. Mr. Plus, we were debating in the group chat before, so I'll go next, but you may feel differently. The Samurai, you think, still got something in him. What do you think about Yuri?
Man, it's so hard to go against the Slick Report. This kid is on absolute flame fire. Wow. Slick, I did not expect this from you. I guess I must have skipped over this in our chat. Holy shit, dude. Are you serious? I gotta take the other side, Slick. I'll probably lose now that it's a Slick Report. However, I just want to say that I'm not done with Yuri yet. And what he did on his last win against Rakic with the KO, and what he did against Glover with the submission, yes, it was back and forth, but it was who wanted it more. Just like you just talked about, Brasco, and Moicano wants it more. You're right. And I think Yuri's going to want this more, man. I think that Sweet Dreams Hill with the fame is fine with what just happened. He's playing it off like he wants to get back in the win column, but I think he just likes the attention, and I think he's enjoying it. And yes, a lot of the media has switched up on him because of the way he used to be versus the way he's acting now. Kind of like a funny, super amazing, fun person to be around when you're winning, and when you lose, you're the biggest sore loser ever. You got excuses, this and that. Bro, he kicked him in the nuts. Potan waved it off. There was a 2-second pause, and then he chinned him. What part of "are you not ready"? Bro, it was. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think there's another spot where he's going to face someone better than him. Give me Yuri Prochazka training in Japan with straight samurais and absolute fucking bear fighting trainers. I'm going with Yuri to get in the win column. I can't go against. If Yuri ever fights Potan again, I will go with Potan, but I'm never taking anyone else against Yuri. Period.
Oh man, well I guess I'll split the difference here. Going with you, I like Jamal Hill too, man, and it looks like Cal does as well. Some people split in the comments. My guy Carol James says I actually like Yuri. I don't see Hill finishing him, and he didn't look in the best shape. So some people questioning Jamal Hill's shape. And then the Frosty Snake in the comments says, look where the sharp money's coming. Nearly 70% of the action on Yuri, but Hill's going from plus 110 to minus 130. I did see the line going towards Hill. That's kind of why I like him. That sentiment is like, to be fair, like I feel like people are mostly down on him because he fell out of favor on social media. Jamal Hill was very recently like beloved. He was making comedy sketches and it was cracking up and he was happy-go-lucky, contender series guy, knocking everyone out. Everyone loved him. And then he kind of took the loss to Pereira, poorly. He was making weird excuses. He would go on his podcast and say some wild shit. Sort of like, come on, man, you're not doing yourself any favors. So I feel like Yuri's just more likable at this point. But like Slick always says, like you like to say, Mr. Plus, he blocks punches with his face. He just never moves his head off center line. And Jamal Hill's got a good left cross down the middle. I think the left cross finds its home. He also throws those loopy overhand shots too, those kind of awkward angle ones. He's rolling with punches too. He doesn't look like he has great defense, but he ends up rolling off a lot of shots. They kind of just glance and deflect. I think Hill's made up of the toughness that we saw. They both fought Glover in awesome, tough wars. We saw Hill's got the toughness too. I think he can last in a nasty one. I just don't think at the elite level that like creating chaos and winning in brawls and outlasting people can be your best asset in your fighting style. And Yuri has logged 36 pro fights. He's done that his whole life. Go watch him on the regional scene. He was like, what up? What up? Bang, bang, bang. Nice jab. He would take 3 and then just knock you out. I don't know if you could do that against Hill, but it should be a banger of a fight. Hill's got plenty of question marks to answer too, right? Like you said, he got chinned into the shadow realm from that shovel hook. So what's his chin like? That's remains to be seen. What do you got to say, Mr. Plus?
I just want to say this is going to be a stand-up fight, which is going to be amazing and electric. This could be one of the fights of the night. So get ready for this one. This is going to be fucking awesome. However, I just feel like if they do grapple at all, Yuri's going to be the stronger guy in there. Not just because he's chiseled and looks better, just because Jamal doesn't take that shit as serious. Yeah, he's a great stand-up striking boxer. Prime time, let me keep you on the feet. Those, and don't forget about those angles. That weird uppercut from hell out of nowhere. We could see a lot of that, but it's going to be electric. I can't wait for this fight.
You're not wrong. I bet you Yuri tries to throw that same kind of shovel hook that Pereira got him with because he throws punches like that, awkward angles. So, yeah, man. All right. Well, there you go. Good debate on no, it's not the co-main event. Would be a co-main, would be a main on some other cards, but awesome light heavyweight banger there. Slick going with Jamal Hill. Minus 120 right now, fluctuating there. Get it while it's still a good line. Like he said, that's one of the more bettable fights on this card. I see you guys in the comments keep firing away. Mike Cocolio, last thought on that. He says, Yuri exhibited some real self-awareness today by acknowledging that he was wrong for keeping his hands low in the last few fights. Hey, man, I hope he starts defending himself. We haven't seen it yet. All right, man. It's time for my segment. It's time for the Brasco Breakdown. Yes, and
Brasco's Breakdown. Brasco's Breakdown.
And this is one that we already talked about that we're all going to be in love with. And guys, the line is moving in our favor. I don't get it. It's Renato. I want money, Moicano. Now at minus 165, this line is flabbergasting me. So for me, I know for Slick, who was talking about it too, and seemingly for Mr. Plus, how he's talking about it earlier in the episode, this is a multi-unit play. I'm going to use Moicano as a parlay piece. I'm throwing 2 units just on the money line straight up because I expected this to be closer to the minus 300 range. Like we were talking about, Dariush, really tricky jiu-jitsu skills. He's a very scrambly, crafty grappler. He can reverse and switch position. And maybe that's what odds makers are seeing stylistically, why they're putting this fight maybe fairly competitive in terms of the odds. But like I said, I don't think this fight comes down to technique. Yeah, maybe he gets a reversal. Maybe he gets back to his feet. Maybe he's competitive in those exchanges. But Moicano can deliver damage and take damage at a level that Dariush cannot right now. It just looks like when Dariush kind of like eats one, he responds poorly, kind of tenses up, folds up, and then things start going downhill. Moicano gets better when the fight gets nasty. I think that, he's talking about, like you said, he's older, but not older in terms of fight years, right? And he said that too. He said, hey, you guys are calling Dariush old? That means I'm old. I'm older than him. But he said, I'm actually going to beat the shit out of that old man. And I think that's what he does. I mean, he's on an absolute tear. He might be the hottest lightweight fighter. This 4-fight win streak he's on. Jalen Turner, Benoit Saint-Denis, Drew Dober. I mean, some of the toughest guys in the division just to scrap with. And he kind of dominated all of them, even hurt when he was hurt against Dober. He showed IQ to be able to just control him. So Moicano just showing that development, that maturity, and that savagery that now put him all together is making him a legitimate contender. So I love Money Moicano. The fellows do too. I don't think we need to belabor the point. I think he takes care of Dariush, and I don't understand why the line is moving in our favor. If I'm wrong, tip of the cap to Dariush. But like Slick mentioned, he's been chatting about retirement. If you have one foot out the door against Moicano, a guy with hunger like that, that's putting away guys that used to be French special forces fighters, yeah, you're in trouble. Moicano wants money. Fellas, any last things to say? Mr. Plus, any final? I mean, do you have a method of victory that you'd pick?
I don't have a method yet, but I will just say that Moicano's last loss was to RDA 3 years ago. 3 years ago, RDA was a scary fucking person. So, time ages people. It's Moicano's time. Man, I like Dariush a lot as a person, as a fighter. I've seen a lot of his interviews. Don't get me wrong, he's got some good wins on his record too, but last 2 times he's fought, he's just been sent to absolute shadow realm, and this might be no different with Moicano.
Yeah, man. And by the way, you mentioned after that loss, I think he took about a year and a half off. And Moicano always had a big mouth and talk shit, but then he took a year and a half off. He beat Brad Riddell easy, and then he became this version of Moicano. So that was a big shifting point for him. Slick, any final thoughts on Moicano? Would you play knockout, sub, decision? How are you seeing it?
I honestly don't know what's going to happen this fight in sense, I don't know how Moicano's going to finish this fight. He could win by 30-27 decision. He could win KO or knockout. If I had to guess, maybe knockout because I don't see him really subbing Benoit Saint Denis, but I just don't know how. I'm probably just going to stick to money lines, if anything, on this fight.
It looks like we're all agreed in the chat, too. My guy Mike Cocolio says easy money. Frosty Snake says I'm like a -3.5 spread. Great way to get plus money in this fight. If he dominates it, he's winning every round. You cover that easy, and that's an interesting way. Is a new way, I should say, in MMA to attack the spread. Maybe get some money if you think someone takes care of every round. Moicano by ground and pound is the prediction in the chat. Love that. We all love it. So we like plus money. We're looking for some plus money. That means, guys, it could only be time for the dogs of the week. And we talked about yours, Mr. Plus, in spirited fashion, but give us some more reasons because you had some dissenting opinions against you. Yuri Prohaska plus 105 now. Tell us why.
Yeah, man, I'm sticking with my guy who fights trees and trains in the woods, and dude is an absolute samurai. Give me Tom Cruise on absolute steroids from CZ, wherever the fuck he's from, Czech Republic or somewhere, Croatia. I don't even. This guy's from all over the place. Give me Yuri Prohaska to get the job done. The human samurai, the only guy that's gonna wear his hair absolutely how you'd never wear your hair. I'll see you when that shit cashes, kind of.
Yeah, the one thing that he does not have to deal with in this fight is spirituality and Amazon forest rituals and versus his own spirituality. There's no voodoo magic at play here. It's just fighting. So that's clean, Slick. It's like you got a different underdog to talk about. Interesting fight here. What do you got?
Yeah, we're going with the polar bear, Sergey Spivak. Plus, I think he's like plus 350 right now. Me personally, I just don't know what people see in Jailton Almeida to make him a minus 500 favorite right now. He's fighting a guy that probably has the best takedown, I would say reversal, or even in the grappling department in his whole career. Like he fought Shamil Abdurakhimov, even took him to the second round. I'm not too high on his striking. His striking is just one overhand right every 30 seconds, and he just spams it to get the takedown. I believe, and the one thing that I like about Spivak in this fight is he's not a traditional double leg type of guy, and that's what Jailton Almeida has been basically defending his whole career. Against Curtis Blades, he had to defend one. Against Shamil, he had to defend one. Spivak is not that type of wrestler. He body locks, throws you to the ground with the body locks. He hip throws you. He makes people that are heavyweights not feel like they are heavyweights. And now he's fighting a guy that's basically a light heavyweight, and he just probably is on steroids right now, and he's like 240, and he's fighting at heavyweight, trying to take advantage of the heavyweights. We seen Spivak at least showed some type of jujitsu on his back against a guy like Tabora. I believe that was the first time Tabora even got submitted his whole career, and I just believe this is a fight that whoever lands on top is gonna have huge momentum. I think if Spivak lands on top, he's gonna have. We've seen time and time again. He has devious ground and pound. He has a good base to get to the arm triangle as fast as anybody we have seen. Like the way he was able to get Lewis to the ground and just sub him a minute later. That's high level stuff. And you're telling me Jalton Almeida, that's coming off a win over Alexander Romanov, who is out of the UFC right now, who everybody's been fading his whole career outside of his first fight. And now you're telling me Jalton Almeida deserves to be a minus 500 favorite? Man, at the end of the day, this is just value at the end of the day, man. This is Spivak that has shown time and time again, whenever he doesn't fight a good striker, he's a problem in there. He's all his losses are to good strikers. Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gahn. Like, this is a guy that has been fighting the top of the top in the UFC heavyweight division. And this is, if he gets this win, I honestly think he deserves a title shot against Aspinall or the winner of Jones, you know? So, hey, man, this is just value at the end of the day. Jalton Almeida has shown that he could be on top of a guy for 25 minutes in Derek Lewis and not get the job done. Derek Lewis, time and time again, has shown that whenever you get him on the ground, he's more than likely getting finished. Spivak obviously shown that. This is just a fight that if Jalton Almeida gets into that position with Curtis Blades, we don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to quit? His fight IQ showed that it wasn't that good in that fight. Instead of just trying to let go of the double leg takedown, he gets hammer fist to death. So, hey, man, this is just value at the end of the day. I'm going to go with Spivak plus 350, half a unit. Give me the polar bear, Sergey Spivak.
Wow, what an argument. I mean, I came in here ready to be like, nah, man, Almeida minus 470. I don't want to bet that, but he's going to beat him. Slick's making me a believer, Mr. Plus. That's a pretty damn good case because maybe he's a big favorite because before Curtis Blades hammer for bang, 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 put him away real quick. I had Blades in that one too. I was ready to lose because Almeida dominated him in the first fight. It just kept him pinned to the mat and stuck. We know that Almeida can keep you stuck. He kept Derek Lewis stuck in top mount for 5 rounds, never finished him. I mean, he's a great grappler too. They were calling him the Brazilian Khabib. My write-up was literally the same thing. It was whoever gets top position and keeps top position is winning this fight. So, Mr. Plus, can Spivak do it?
Well, holy shit, Slick. Title shot is crazy if you win this. You got to go through Sergey Pavlovich or Volkov next, or even another Cyril Gahn fight if you're the polar bear and you get the W. You got to go back through the top 3 to get to one. He said a title match if they win this fight. I like where your head's at. I'm gonna say this. I agree with a lot of what we just talked about on Brasco's end and on Slick's end. What I will say is what I agree with more is that Almeida is going to be more of a grappler wrestler. And when Spivak fights those kinds of guys, those kinds of fighters, he sees the edge. He gets the edge. Bro, his stand-up's not that bad. His hands, he slugs, bro. If he hits you with a couple shots, you're going to get hurt. I kind of feel like this is the polar bear's fight to lose. And to be really transparent, I mean, Jalton Almeida's last win was against Alexander Romanov, bro. I don't care if he won his last fight. That dude is pathetic nowadays. He's the human pancake out of the heavyweight fighters. I can't go with it. Marcin Tybura, armbar, way more respectable. And if these guys start grappling, and maybe Sergey could do something that he did to Marcin Tybura. So I'm just not sold on Jalton Almeida. I kind of was on his come up, but after I saw that loss to Curtis Blades, the straight KO on Hammer Fists, I've realized almost any heavyweight who's got somewhat hands is going to ruin this guy. And my dude, the polar bear, does have somewhat of hands. I like a clap KO to my boy Jalton Almeida's head. Give me the polar bear Sergey Spivak for the win. I like it better on the money line though. I'm a little scared to take anything else.
Woo! Okay. I mean, my boys are convincing me. I'm off the Almeida. First of all, where's the value anyway if you want to bet Almeida? It's all Spivak. And that armbar slick, I mean, I bet on Spivak in his last fight against Tybura. And he ends up, Tybura, veteran, gets on top. I'm like, man, Spivak was looking good. We're going to lose the armbar. I win. That was amazing.
And also, I just got to say, you say he's not in line for a title shot. You got to remember, Volkov just got robbed from Gane in that fight. You really think they're going to give Gane the title shot? Also, Sergey Pavlovich is scheduled to fight Jairzinho Rozenstruik in, I think the February 1st card. Imagine if that fight is a blunder, and then the other heavyweight fight is Curtis Blades versus a debutant and coming straight off the Contender Series. Who else is you going to give the title shot? Sergey Spivak comes out here, grounds and pounds, jousting Almeida to death in the first round. Sergey Spivak is right there for the title shot. Right there.
He's been saying on interviews afterwards too. He's like, I'm always overlooked. No one thinks about me. So you can't overlook him anymore, Slick, if he puts a statement on this one.
Yeah, I just think, like I said, that it's just the heavyweight division right now is Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. You can't even say John Jones because John Jones probably fights Tom Aspinall. If he wins, he's probably retired. It's Tom Aspinall and everybody else. Right now, the only person that has lost to Tom Aspinall as of late is Sergey Spivak. If he wipes everybody off in the division right now, other than Volkov, who just got robbed, and Volkov probably won't even fight for God knows how long because he's so mad about that. And then Gane, who just robbed Volkov. It's we gotta give Spivak the title shot. It's like Brandon Royval versus Pantoja situation.
Yes.
He probably beat him the first time, but it's just nobody right now. So Spivak.
Yeah, those divisions, flyweight, heavyweight. It's funny at the top end of either division, the heaviest and lowest weights in the UFC. Those are usually the thinnest division where the contenders kind of get recycled. They have their shots, the same matchups, and all of a sudden you're like, who will it be? Who will be the next man up? So interesting chat there at heavyweight for the future. All right, guys, those are our dogs of the week. Well, now it's time for everyone to come together. By the way, before we do, smash the like button if you're watching. Shout out to everybody in the live show here. Having a lot of fun. By the way, one question before Slick in the Spivak fight. Do you like the over or under 1.5 rounds? Asked Jameson.
Me personally, I'll probably look at the fights and not go to distance because in the sense that I just don't know if Almeida is going to come out there and just lay on Spivak. He's shown that he would just lay on you without no ground and pound, laying on guard. Now, Spivak, he's shown that if he has you on bottom guard, he's going to let stuff rain. So maybe go to fight no decision as a parlay piece. Or if you want to go to under 1.5, I would say just sprinkle probably. If it's good odds, because I haven't seen the odds. But if it's even money or something, maybe sprinkle a half a unit or something. But yeah.
I almost moved forward to the next segment without doing my dog of the week. It's coming. And here it is. You guys ready? It's time to talk about the co-main event of the evening. And dare I say it, I'm going to take the shot. Half a unit sprinkle on Merab the Machine Dvalishvili. Jewish better in the comments. Say it with me, brother. It's my guy, and I think he might be on my side. Look, this is a play on the line, guys. I know he's up against a Nurmagomedov and a legitimate one. The best striking Nurmagomedov we've seen. He's a razor-sharp kickboxer. Not only is he just so good, with his technique is so sharp, but defensively and his IQ are so sharp too. A lot of these guys you see, they have the skills, they have the kickboxing, but when in the in-between, in those spaces, right, that's where they falter. That's where they're hittable. That's where you see the lapses and maybe the inexperienced striking. Umar's got all that, man. He's really tight. And of course, he has the grappling pedigree that you'd expect from the Dagestani. So what am I going to say? What am I going to argue with? Where is Merab better? Well, he has intangibles that are unmatched in the UFC. He has a gas tank, cardio, a pace, and just a relentlessness and a will to win that nobody can stand up to, right? I mean, him and few other guys, maybe nobody else, right? His game can just neutralize your offense. We saw it done to Peter Yan, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen to Umar, but I'm saying that Merab can do that to you. His style can just muck up the game. He's a game breaker, right? So, man, if you're going to give me plus 260 on a guy with intangibles like that, with an iron chin, he's not getting finished, he's not getting tired, and maybe he thwarts that wrestling style, that combat sambo style of Umar, right? Maybe all of a sudden it's just getting mucked up by the just relentless game of Merab. So I'm sure the fellows will tell me that I'm crazy and that I'm bugging, but I think it goes to decision. And with Merab's work rate, I think he has a chance. So I'll take the chance on him as an underdog and be totally fine if I lose my bet. Mr. Plus, you think I'm bugging or do you think he's live in this fight?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I lose fans over this one, but the O has got to go. I'm on the same side, Brasco. I'm not going to lie, man. Give me Merab. The way he just beat the fuck out of our boy Sugar. Man, come on. This could be light work. This could be a problem. This could be, why did you move Umar up so fucking fast? This could be a real fucking problem. The line is way off. You're going to give me this type of plus money. Minus 335 on who? Just because his last name is Nurmagomedov? I don't think so, boys. If you want to skip the fight, skip the fight. I might make Merab a fucking parlay piece. This guy is winning. It is a fucking bag. And still.
He's the champ, Slick. And I know Slick has watched a lot of Umar Nurmagomedov. I know Slick is a big fan of his. And I'm a big fan of Corey Sandhagen's. Wow. Umar Nurmagomedov impressed me in that Sand. It wasn't all that of exciting of a fight, but it was highly technical. And he out-techniqued one of the most cerebral and highest IQ guys in the sport, in the division too. So Umar really impressed me there. But Slick, you don't think that Merab looked good in the striking exchanges against O'Malley? He's improved there too. Do you think that he can get to him, or you think Umar just kind of outclasses him in every area?
You see, the one thing that Merab was able to have success in his last two fights was he was fighting two counter punchers in a sense, in Jan and Sean O'Malley. Those guys, he fought Cejudo and then fought Sean O'Malley. And this is just a good opportunity, I would say, in Umar, and a guy that incorporates all type of strikes. He uses his kicks. I think one thing that's really going to pay dividends for him in this fight is the side kick that he implements to just keep the distance going, especially in a long cage. I think that definitely helps him. They're fighting in California. And the one thing that I really didn't like about Merab in his last fight was people like Sean O'Malley was winning rounds, just landing 2 good strikes, 3 good strikes, 4 good strikes, because he just wasn't doing anything with the takedowns. You know, Merab is just one of those guys that he's not good in controlling, and he's been able to fight guys that's just not worried about the takedowns. I mean, that are worried about the takedowns. Now he's fighting a guy that I believe, he's fighting against Khabib's basically son. And I believe Khabib's going to have a good game plan in the sense that I just think Nurmagomedov is going to be able to take rounds just based on damage against, like, in the judge's eyes. He's going to land 10 to 15 strikes, and with Merab just having control, it's probably going to go Umar way. And the one concern that you also got to give Merab is just how is he going to deal with if the takedowns are stuffed. We've seen it against a guy like Jose Aldo. But Jose Aldo basically neutralized all 3 rounds, and judges still giving him rounds for landing 1 punch, 2 punches. How is he going to falter to a guy that's not going to give him control? Is he going to keep going to that work rate? We've seen in his last 2 fights that he's trying to get the striking going. Is he going to strike with Umar for a little bit of time? I just don't know. I just think that Umar Nurmagomedov has the defensive wrestling to just keep the fight on the feet. Just keep it somewhat at distance and just land good strikes. Me personally, Dana White, everybody, they can't wait for Merab to lose, because they're already talking about if Umar wins, he's getting a title shot against Sean. I mean, he's giving the rematch to Sean O'Malley. And then when they asked him, what about Merab win? He's like, well, we're not really, if he wins, we don't know if we're going to look into the rematch and stuff. So I just think this is an opportunity that I think Umar could show his striking, show his defensive grappling, and maybe just land good strikes. One thing about Merab also is that he just goes for takedowns. He doesn't have good control. So if people just get up on him, land some damage, I think people could take rounds. And Umar, I believe, is one of those people. So I'm going to go with Umar in this spot and you.
I think that's a really good stylistic breakdown, too. There's a reason the champion is a big underdog. It's because Umar is legitimate, right? And I think that's if he is able to stuff the takedowns, set the pace at his own fight, he's going to take over. He's got the skill set to do it. If he becomes champion, if he dismantles Merab and makes easy work of it and does a lot of things that Slick is saying, he could be another one of these guys that is immovable. The Islam Makhachevs, the Umar Nurmagomedovs, and just another one of these pillars that sticks in the division and will not be denied. Watch out for him if he does do that. All right, man. Time to get a parlay cooking with the boys. It's time to lace them up for a Dars parlay. That beat has me bopping, bro. I was about to kick a freestyle. It was fire. And we're all going to pick a leg, get ourselves a Darts podcast parlay going. We got to come through with this one. Uros Medic had us dead on arrival. And oh my God, that was my Brasco breakdown. I had that video on the internet. Lasted all 6 seconds. So, yeah, fun times. We're hitting this one, Mr. Plus. Give us the first leg.
We were all on Uros Medic. The medic needed a medic after that fight. We're going leg number 1 on the Darts. Lace them up, boys. If you're there watching the live, smash that like. We appreciate all 30 plus of you guys. Yo, seriously, the fact that you guys are all here makes us want to do these live shows even more. Leg number 1, give me Rinya Nakamura. Dude, this guy from Japan is a machine. He's a superhuman. Literally, he could be a superhero if Japan had more superheroes. But I'm going to go with Superman would be my hero for him if he was American. Give me Rinya Nakamura. This dude is going to be electric, faster on the feet, stronger everywhere. And, Muin Gafarov, granted the win against Kyung Ho Kang, dude, he was like getting out grappled against a guy like this, where Rinya is like just wrestle heavy, one of the best wrestlers out of Japan almost ever. I got to stick with this guy. Not only that, I think his hands are going to be faster on the feet. He's got better stand-up game. He's 9-0 for a reason. The UFC signed him for a reason. He has a couple wins in the UFC, a few, and I think this is his 4th good one. Give me Rinya Nakamura for leg number 1 of the Darts. Cash that shit easy, boys.
Let's go. Nakamura, his price tag is climbing, so get him in now because he might close minus 700. Decorated wrestler, Slick. Gafarov is scrappy. He can make fights ugly, but if he's staying in Nakamura's face, he's over pressuring, swings heavy, he's going to get put on his back, right? I think Nakamura handles him.
Yeah, I don't even think he's going to get put on his back. I think Nakamura makes this look easy. I've been watching his before he came to the U.S., he was on a trip in China. I had to pull out the Google Translator, and he told those guys in China or Japan or wherever he's from, I am coming to make a statement. We already know what this guy is capable of. And I legit told myself, whenever this guy came into the UFC, I remember watching him on the road to UFC and from China, and I told myself I would not bet against this guy unless he fights a top 10 guy. So he's not fighting a top 10 guy. This is easy money for Nakamura. Cash, I just don't know. Honestly, Nakamura could just do whatever he wants. He could just lay on him for 3 rounds. He can knock him out in the first round. He could get a submission. Gafarov, for me, it's just he honestly could have lost that Kang Ho Kang fight. And me personally, Kang Ho Kang, it was 39 years old. He's fighting an up-and-coming wrestling prospect that has devious hands. So, yeah, Nakamura.
Nakamura, get him in as a parlay leg. We talked about this guy earlier on the Plus Boss, Slick. You're going to add him to the Darts. Who do you like for your leg?
We're going with Fernando Sopaj, man. I just think, honestly, I really don't have a breakdown for him. This is just simply fade Ricky Tercios. Just like last week, we faded Ihor Porteria. Same way this week, we're fading Ricky Tercios. He's a guy that's okay with losing. I'm not betting on him. So, Fernando Sopaj, money line.
It's that simple. Some guys we just bet. Some guys you bet on. Some guys you bet against. Me and Slick.
That was a great analysis and breakdown by Slick. I just want to throw that out there.
That's it. Sometimes it's that simple. You don't have to get into the weeds. So we bet against this guy. Jordan Wright was one of our favorites. Man, faded Jordan Wright to the moon. My goodness. I miss that money. So much money. I miss him. I hope he's doing well. My leg to close it out. It's plus 123 with this third leg, guys. I'm going with Carol Rosa. Carol Rosa fighting Eileen Perez. Might be popular with the twerks, right? She out-grapples her opponent. She gets all physical. She's got these thick thighs, and she uses them in the grappling, just establishes posture and control. But Rosa is the best fighter that she's seen so far in the UFC. And Rosa impressed me in her last two fights. 2 fights ago, went to an absolute war with Irina Aldana, just blood and guts. I mean, clap it up, edge of your seat at the end of that one. If you're not a Rosa and Aldana fan, then you don't have a pulse. And Rosa was beat. I had a lot of money on Aldana. Rosa was beating her up early. Her low kicks are nasty. She can shut down the lead leg of her opponent. She did that in her next fight against Pani Kianzad. Beat the absolute shit out of Pani Kianzad. Should have finished her. I thought she had the finish there. I think I took the finish too, and I was pissed that she didn't put her away. But point being, Rosa's putting damage on girls. And I think if Eileen Perez can't grapple her, which Rosa's got plenty of experience, she's got, jiu-jitsu skills, she's good in the clinch. If she's stuffing takedowns, Perez is going to look bad in the striking department with her. So if they're sticking at mid-range, I think Rosa just pieces her up. I think she's live for a knockout too. Give me Carol Rosa. DK says, don't sleep on Perez. Maybe I am, but I think Rosa does work. Maybe she gets clinched up and tangled for a while, but I think she does her thing and wins the fight. Mr. Plus, do you think it's worth a bet on Rosa? Do you like it?
Yeah, I don't think we're sleeping on Perez. Of course, we all want to see the twerk afterwards, but I just don't think it's happening in this fight. I got to agree with my man Brasco. Carol Rosa, this is a speed advantage. This is I just think a veteran advantage. I really, truly think after that Pani Kianzad fight, this girl's ready for the next level. And guess who's not the next level? Aileen Perez. I think that's a step back. I think this is going to be easy for her. Give me the W with you on Rosa to get it done. It should be easy money like Moicano, baby. I'm be honest.
I like it too, man. I'm with you. My guy Jewish Better says Jordan Wright catching strays. He knows. He remembers the good old days of fading.
Yeah, I miss Jordan Wright. I miss Jordan. I miss him. Easy fade. Easy fade.
The Beverly Hills Ninja. I'll never forget him, man. All right, guys. We talked about the Darce parlay, and we mentioned it earlier on, but we got to get deeper into the weeds on this one because it's time for the main event of the evening. And we've got Islam Makhachev going for his 4th lightweight title defense against Arman Tsarukyan, a guy that fought him in 2019, lost a competitive decision, but had some moments. Showed that he belonged, if nothing else. And here he is, belonging in the UFC, ready to get his revenge. He's a plus 295 underdog. Look, Islam is dominant. We know all about him. What can I say that you don't know? I need to know, guys, is Tsarukyan, oh, Mr. Plus is taking his shades off, so I'm going to you first. Is Tsarukyan the one with the skills to take down the dominant champ?
No, he's not. Listen, I like this kid. I watched the whole documentary. They had a long UFC road to whatever episode. I watched the whole thing. It was 48 minutes long. 48 fucking minutes. I sat here in front of my computer and watched Arman Tsarukyan spin around on his fucking head and do the whole fucking... Bro, get the fuck out of here. That ain't going to help you against a guy like Islam. Now, I understand the first fight was weird. They were both way worse than they are now. However, let's be honest. If they've both gotten better, well, give me Islam. With Khabib in the corner, he ain't losing. It ain't happening.
It's tough to pick against anybody with Khabib in the corner. Just the wisdom and the aura. Those guys, the Umars, the Islam, Slick. Is he just another? Is Tsarukyan just another feather in his cap, another gem in his UFC title belt, or does he have a chance to make this competitive?
I mean, it's going to be competitive in the sense that Tsarukyan is not going to just falter to the wrestling like how Islam has been able to get a lot of guys. But my one concern with Tsarukyan is that he's one of those types of fighters that even in his early days, like even before the Dariush knockout, the Joel Alvarez knockout, he was one of those guys that will get better as the fight goes on. You know, he'll probably, like, it'll be a competitive first round, like when he got knocked down by Silva. You know, against Charles Oliveira, he almost got his head choked out in that fight in the first round, also in the third round. And my one concern with him is that if you're not getting the fight that you want, that of course he wants to fight on the ground, how is he gonna look? You know, because we know what Islam is gonna look on the feet. He's fought great strikers in Volk. He's fought great strikers in Dustin Poirier, and he's shown that he doesn't need the wrestling to dominate fights. He has good enough striking to keep the fight on the feet. Of course, the dominance is in the wrestling, but the one concern with me also with the Tsarukyan is just him not able to get the striking going with the wrestling. He's one of those guys that try to get the wrestling going first, and that'll have a lot of people worried about it, and that's how he's able to get the striking going later on in the fight. Like I said, against Silva, that he didn't finish to the third round. Silva was just in that first round just able to dictate the pace, have the stronger shots. I just think that this is a fight that if Islam is able to keep on the feet, I think he wins. And if the fight gets to any type of grappling exchanges, I just think Islam, like we've seen, Islam is going to be the one to land on top. I think he has better control. Arman, he's looking good with his little 12-pack on Instagram. He's talking about he's not even worried about if he loses this fight because he's just doing this for fun. I'm not going against the guy that lives in the mountains, that fighting bears to really get this championship gold, to keep this championship gold. Like Arman says, if he loses this fight, it's nothing. He's going back to his regular goal in his life. You know, his family real wealthy. If Islam loses this fight, it's everything. And that's why I have to go Islam, because he's going to fight tip attack, going strike for strike with Dustin Poirier with a huge gash on his face. Going into the fifth round with Dustin Poirier, I was there too, so that shit was crazy. So I gotta go with Islam, man. I understand a lot of people saying that, you know, he's supposed to move up in weight. I just think this is a guy that, as long as he's able to get into that scale and successfully cut the weight, he's gonna be a weight bully. You know, he's he's coming in there probably cutting weight from I say probably 180, 190, cutting 30, 40 pounds. But, hey, man, as long as he makes the scales, looks healthy, I got to go with Islam.
Hard not to, man. I understand. Mr. Plus Slick, resoundingly liking Islam. So I'm going to go on the other side just to do it, man. I said it with Merab. I'll say it with Arman. The line's crazy. Again, these guys might get dominated, and I'll tip my cap and say I expected it. I'm making these bets expecting to lose, but I think you're going to get an elite guy like Merab. You're going to get an elite guy like Arman at nearly 3-1. Just like betting math tells me to take a chance. And if I lose, it's a fight. Betting math doesn't matter. It's a fight in a cage. But I think that Arman could beat Islam maybe more than 2 out of 10 times what the implied probability says. I think he has the skill set to be competitive, right? If there's a guy out there in this division left talking about clearing out divisions, who else is it? Who's left? I mean, and Islam did take some big damage, like Slick mentioned, against Poirier. No, do I think he's coming in with a cracked chin or No, I don't. But I think Arman's got a chance to be competitive at least. So I'll be happy to be wrong, you guys to be right. But I'll take the shot just because of the line. Mr. Plus, what do you say?
I just want to be clear, boys and girls, anybody who's watching, if Islam is our last leg of 2 or 3 parlays, don't be surprised if we put 1.5 units on Arman, just like Danny just did.
There you go. Hedge scenario. Yeah, be sure to follow my guy, Mr. Plus Money, on Instagram, Twitter, all the good stuff. Same with Slick. Tags and handles right on the bottom, guys. We're always putting out stuff there, too. So if you don't, now you know. And, guys, it's this time for our new segment. We haven't discussed this one yet. Cal, cue up the banger of the night. Let's go.
It's a banger.
I'm into that shit, man. And this is a fight on the main card that we've yet to discuss. I definitely want to see the opinions in the comments here because I was racking my brain on this one for a while. So let us know what you guys are on. It's Kevin Holland versus Rainer de Ridder. What an interesting stylistic matchup. Holland has lost 3 of his last 4 fights, And last one suffered a broken rib, just losing in kind of disheartening fashion. A lot of people thought he gave up. His rib broke. I don't want to say he gave up. You know, Holland's got no quit in him. But his in-cage antics and personality, you kind of never know what to expect from Holland, right? Is he coming to win, or is he coming to just fight, talk shit, mess around, and, you know, potentially leave with a loss? And he's up against the guy making his second UFC fight, Rainer de Ridder. Debuted against Gerald Meerschaert, GM3, the crafty submission veteran. Bro, de Ridder was getting hurt. GM3 had him in deep trouble. De Ridder went into the depths, pulled it out, and made the comeback and ended up putting GM3 away. But, I mean, oh no, did it go to decision? It was a nasty, he put him away in the end. But he's nasty on the ground. De Ridder loves to rain down ground and pound, long, rangy striking, really to set up his grappling. It's just he's up against a long, rangy striker, Slick, and Holland that like has an 81-inch reach and much better striking than GM3. So my question is, Holland's been out grappled by the Derek Brunsons and Marvin Vittori's back. We've seen him get out wrestled. That's a long time ago. I mean, Holland's no easy cookie. He's not just nobody on the ground. Can de Ridder hang with him on the feet? I think no. What do you think?
This is honestly, man, a huge toss-up. Basically, just like the Jamal Hill fight, pick your poison in that fight. This is the pick your poison. And the one thing that I hate that I see a lot of Instagram stuff is just the downplay on the Ridder. Like, the guy, if the first round would have been more than 10 seconds, he would have finished GM3. He landed a good elbow, got hurt. GM3 got hurt, landed a good-ass left cross, and probably pulled GM3's eyes back. But it was 2 seconds left in the round. So I understand he gets the backlash of GM3. But the thing about it is that he passed the GM3 test. You know, everybody was all on GM3 in that spot as a dog. Oh my God, he's fighting another debutant. Is debutant gonna pass the test? Now that he passed the test, and I believe that was the first time Gerald Meerschaert even got submitted in his whole career. Now that he passed the test and submitted a guy that's never been submitted in his own fashion in the third round, I just can't believe the backlash that he's getting. I got hit, but everybody gets hit. You know that I understand, and I don't know if I want to go with Holland either, because Holland is one of those guys that I've been fading the past couple fights. You know, I bet on him against Olejniczak because everybody in their mind bet on him that fight. Everybody knew he was going to sub Olejniczak. And then I've been fading him ever since. I bet it on Dolidze. I just don't know. Kevin Holland's takedown defense is atrocious. The Ridder could get a sub. The Ridder's striking defense is atrocious. Kevin Holland could get a knockout. So you know what I say when that happens? Bet the fight to not go the distance and don't even bet either side. I don't even know what the odds are fight to not go the distance, but hey, man, one of these guys are gonna get their advantage. Don't sweat it. Put in a 1-unit parlay if it's like minus 200 or more, and just have a good ass fight, because this is a fight that any one of these guys could have their way. The Ridder has a mean ass arm triangle that he could get at any moment. Kevin Holland has shown that he could get subbed at any moment. Even with his black belt, I'm not picking either side. Bet fight to not go the distance, if anything.
It's the banger of a night for the reason, because Slick doesn't need the judges involved. Mr. Plus, what do you think about it? Are you picking a side?
I am picking a side, but I couldn't agree more. This could go either way, and it's not going the distance. I think that's why we called it the banger of the night. I think that Kevin Holland gets the knockout. I'm just going to be straight honest here. I think there's levels to this game. I love one fight. I used to love Bellator. I love PFL. UFC is so far ahead, it's not even funny. So we got the best of the best. They started this back in the day. I was just watching a documentary on UFC 1, 2, 3, you know, where Hoist Gracie and Ken Shamrock did all that stupid bullshit. You know, no weight classes. Shit was absolutely fucking a circus. Now we know what we're doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, Kevin Holland only has this many L's because he fought 10 times in 1 year. This guy is an animal. Give me Kevin Holland to get back in the win column. I think he won his last fight though. But let me get him to stay in the win column.
He lost
no. Back in the, you're right. Back in the win column. And DeRitter, I'm not saying he's not bad. I just don't think the wrestling style is going to be anything against the guy who can get back up once you get him down, and then punch you in your face while you're standing up.
He freaking better, man. He got stuck on the ground too many times in the past, but those are in the past. I mean, he's got a mean jiu-jitsu too. People sleep on Holland's grappling himself. So I'm rooting for a finish there. I like a Holland knockout, but I'm not betting it. And you guys like a banger in the comments as well. We did the damn thing. There's some honorable mentions, some fights we haven't talked about that we need to talk about. So let's do the honorable mentions now, fellas. That was like a little Jeopardy vibe. First fight on the night, first fight of the card. Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Clayton Carpenter, Grappler's Delight. Carpenter, 8-0 prospect that I've liked his grappling. He's crafty. He's tenacious. He's good, man. This is a big step up against another Khabib camp guy, Ulanbekov, right? Mr. Plus, is it a step too high? Ulanbekov minus 325. You think he outgrapples him?
Yeah, absolutely. This is not Tim Elliott. This is not a kid who's just going to am I on?
Yeah, you're on. You're good.
Oh, my bad. You guys threw me off there. You threw me off. Clayton Carpenter's not getting this win. I'm just going to tell you right now, I understand he's undefeated. This is just another level. Give me Tagir Ulanbekov to stay in the win column. He's not a very active fighter. He fights once a year. But if this guy was active, he'd be up for a title contention, in my opinion. So I'm going to take Tagir again. I've been cashing on this guy for the last 5 years. I'm dead serious. Tim Elliott, I did take the L because I took Tagir. Tagir's going to get this win against Clayton Carpenter. No discussion is necessary.
Tagir, he's got the grappler slick. He's going to come right into his wheelhouse. You think Tagir gets it done?
This is honestly a tough ass fight for me to pick because for the simple fact that I know Tagir has the abilities, but he's a walking deathbat. Like the guy cut so much weight, like Jose Johnson type of guy to get down to this weight class. Like he was supposed to fight Joshua Van, who Joshua Van was a part of the Slick report and a max play against Tagir Ulanbekov that I had. But of course, Tagir Ulanbekov, the weight bully that he is, trying to cut as much weight, missed weight by like 5 pounds. I think this is a fight that I'm going to look at DraftKings and I'm going to look at the plus 3.5. If Tagir Ulanbekov is looking deathbed on weight class, I might throw a little sprinkle on Carpenter plus 3.5. I think he can win at least one round, probably being scrappy, probably being one of those guys that gets out of, because the one thing that Tagir does is that he does lose a lot of positions trying to go for his chokes, like the guillotine and Darce chokes that he tries to go to. So if Clayton Carpenter keeps the fight on the feet, I think he could probably implement his own takedowns or at least win via control, one round or two at least. So I like Clayton Carpenter plus 3.5 if I get a good line on it.
Interesting, man. He's only 8-0. Tagir's 15-2. So you look at the Ulanbekov name, the experience, the UFC experience. You got to give him the edge. But Carpenter's, like a lot of you guys agree in the comments, Jameson says Carpenter's scrappy. Mike says Clayton Carpenter will not be a walk in the park. So could be a closer fight than maybe the odds reflect. Mr. Plus feeling confident in Tagir. I like Tagir too, but Slick making a case why Carpenter could be competitive. The next fight, interesting one here. Grant Dawson, speaking of wrestlers, taking on Diego Ferreira on a little 2-fight underdog winning streak, putting away Michael Johnson with a clean right hand, and then ground and pounding Mateus Rebecki. He put away Rabisti, who just finished Miktelbek Orobai in a banger of a fight. So what do we think about Diego Ferreira, who's plus 210? He's up against an all-American wrestler, Slick, in Grant Dawson. Is he going to get pinned to the mat and stuck there? Or does the veteran dog have a chance to cash for the third time in a row as a dog? I think the odds are a little wide.
Oh, man. This is just one of those, who the fuck what's going to happen? Like Dawson in his last fight, I believe he finished Garcia. But before that fight, he laid on Joe Selecki. And unfortunately, I was in attendance in that fight. And I had to watch him lay on Joe Selecki for 3 rounds. No ground and pound, no submission attempts. Just lay on him. And then he comes out against Rafa Garcia. And his ground and pound is some of the best I ever seen. I just don't know what's going to happen this fight. We seen Dawson, if somebody was able to stuff his takedowns, the striking is not that good. You know, he's real takedown reluctant. You know, as soon as he gets back to the feet, he tries to shoot another takedown, like on some reckless stuff. And then Ferreira, he has shown that he's able to get up from the wrestling. He has shown to implement damage. But one thing that he hasn't fought is guys like Grant Dawson. That's a wrestler with great control on the ground. He's fought guys that is more looking for the ground and pound. That's more looking for subs. I think Dawson could probably keep him on the ground, but I just haven't looked at lines. Maybe you look at Grant Dawson by decision, or maybe you look at Diego Ferreira by KO, because I don't think he subs Grant Dawson. So maybe you look at one of those two lines, but I don't know, man. This is just one of those knock your head off. Maybe look at the value side on Diego Ferreira, or if you think Dawson is going to keep him down for 3 rounds, because one thing we know about Diego Ferreira, when the fight gets back on the feet, he is going to throw. He is not just going to land. He is just not going to sit there and let you off the hook. He is going to throw. So I don't know.
I love that though. I think it's either one of those. I think either Mr. Plus, I'll be pissed that I took Fajeda on the dog shot and then there he is just stuck on his back, or he defends a takedown and there goes Dawson's confidence and everything starts to flip and he becomes the favorite in the live odds. How do you see this fight?
There's only 2 ways to bet this fight, but before we bet this fight, guys, smile real quick. I'm taking some snapshots.
What is good with this? Did he just okay, there he is.
Oh, my bad. Smile.
Middle take. You start taking pictures.
Perfect.
What are you doing,
My
bro?
bad, boys. Thank you again for the 20 to 30 of you that are staying put and watching this and getting all our leans, all our picks, all our pick predictions. We love you guys, straight up. On this fight, I'm taking the old dog,
Yes.
baby. Give me Diego Ferreira. I mean, listen, Slick, I understand, and I agree with you. Grant Dawson could win this by hump and pump, whatever they call that shit. Nothing else besides that. Diego Ferreira, on the other hand, has very different ways of winning this fight, whether it's a submission, whether it's a straight, quick, bat. You're done on the knockout. I got to go with the 40-year-old vet. And, let's be transparent. On the last 2 Grant Dawson fights, he fought guys like Joe Solecki, Rafa Garcia. They don't have the striking or even the grappling that Diego Ferreira does, but the striking is going to be what's going to set him apart. I feel like we get a KO here, Diego Ferreira, and see that little glass jaw that Grant Dawson had against Bobby Green. I don't know. That's just me.
That's also my bet on Fajeda, is that after that flash KO to a Bobby Green jab, I just question his durability. Was it a weird random shot? Maybe it was just that, but that was strange, man. So I think Fajeda could take damage better than him, but it won't matter if he's stuck on the ground. We'll see. It could just, what Dawson does. So like Slick says, he's racking his, but he's not sure how it's going to play out. Maybe play the alternate methods. Cal, the producer, he likes Grant Dawson decision. If he does have a glass chin, Fajeda KO. So 2 ways to play it. Alternate method of victory. Another fight we have to talk about. This was recently added to the card. Zach Reese versus Azamat Bekaev. I'm going to be straight up. I don't know anything about this Bekaev guy, and immediately he opens up as a 2-1 favorite. Slick, is there anything you could tell us about him?
I mean, honestly, when I seen the odds, I was that surprised as anything. Like, Zachary Reese comes out as a -300 favorite against Umar, and he's all of a sudden plus 175 dog this morning. I've seen a little bit of take from Azamat. I understand he's with a top team. He trains the American top team with those guys, Renato Moicano and those guys. This is just maybe lean a dog or pass for me, a guy that's on a full camp in Zachary Reese. Azamat is, I'm just not too high on him to be a -200 favorite coming in on short notice. I think Reese, he's coming in there also with like a 3-inch height advantage. We've seen he has good jiu-jitsu. He has good power on the feet. The one concern about him was going 3 rounds, and we've seen it in his last fight going 3 rounds against a good, durable, tough Jose Medina that a lot of people thought was going to be able to take advantage of Reese's cardio. probably lean dog or pass, but the tape that I seen didn't lean me towards Asamat. I only seen like 3-4 fights, but yeah, probably lean dog or pass for me.
That's 3 or 4 more than me. Any opinions on Azamat versus Reese, Mr. Plus? I mean, Reese, like he said, he was a favorite. Now he's a big dog. Me. Any opinions?
Absolutely.
Reese, Mr. Plus? I mean, Reese, like he said, he was a favorite. Now he's a big dog. You fucking with the soundboard over there? He's just doing all sorts of shit. Taking pictures. Where we at, Mr. Plus? He had too
Sorry,
many.
just getting some sound effects going. This is an absolute plus money lock. Take Reese all fucking day. This is a no-brainer. I understand my guy, Azamat, is coming from the LFA with all these wins in front of him. He's never had UFC experience. And you know who has? Reese. Even in one of his losses against Cody Brundage, which taught him a lot. Give me Reese, winner of the Contender Series, lost to Cody Brundage, won his last 2 besides that. I think this is a stone-cold knockout, 6'4" versus 5'11". That is a severe reach advantage. Reese is not bad on his feet. He's going to put those hands out there and bomb, good night, Azamat, whatever your name is. Peace.
Azamat, what's his name? Oh, my God. That was Borat's manager in the Borat movie, the obese guy who's running around the hotel with him butt naked with his, like, gross body. Azamat Bagatov. Yeah. Nah. Next fight, Peyton Talbot, minus 1,200. Holy shit. Against one of Slick's favorite fighters, like he always likes to say, the Crystal Belt, Ione Barcelos, with the crazy jiu-jitsu credentials, who barely uses his jiu-jitsu. He better use it in this one against the striker like Talbot, who's drawing comparisons to Sean O'Malley. He's one of the brightest prospects in the UFC. If you don't know about him, tune in. His kickboxing is fun to watch. He's got the intangibles, got the granite chin. He's got just crazy athleticism. We've seen him do backflips in a fight as a move. I love this guy. I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he knocks Barcelos out. Barcelos a 37-year-old bantamweight. You can't be 37 at bantamweight. The division's too fast. I think if he's unable to grapple with him, he's going to get knocked out in the second round after getting damaged in the first. Mr. Plus, Talbot minus 1,200. You going to play it in any way?
No, I want Talbot to win. I love this kid. Amazing, organic fucking leader, winner, undefeated, special from the United States. But no, I just there's no bet on this fight for me. As a matter of fact, this could be my Henny P break. I got to go take a pee. Slick, hold it down for this one. What's happening in this fight?
There you go. Henny break. Don't make this fight your Henny break, because watch Talbot show out. What do you think about your boy Barcelos?
It's nothing much to think of him, man. He's, like you said, a crystal belt in jiu-jitsu, doesn't use his jiu-jitsu. Like, the one thing that I know that he's going to be able to have success against Talbot in the grappling. Talbot is one of those guys that he like uses tricks and stuff like that to get out of grappling. Barcelos might be a next step ahead of him. But the one thing that's concerning about Barcelos is his age. Like, this is a guy that at age 35 was going against Tamir Valiev. Valiev landed like 150-plus strikes. You have against Victor Henry landing plus 100 strikes. Even against Christian Quinones in his last fight, Christian Quinones landed some good punches, but eventually got out-grappled and ended up getting submitted. I just think Talbot maybe second or third round KO, but I just don't know how I'm going to play it. Maybe a sneaky bet might be Talbot by submission. Talbot by sub, maybe if he lands a good shot, Talbot is one of those guys that he won't be scared to wrap your neck. He did it against, I think, Nick Aguirre, I think his name was. He landed a good shot, saw the opportunity to get the sub, and got the rear naked choke. So you never know, man. There's another fight. Probably play the fight no distance, because Talbot. One thing we know about him is that if he goes to decision, Barcelos is gonna be there bleeding like a motherfucker, like Joshua Van versus Cody Durden type of fight. If that fight goes to decision, you just tip your cap off to how tough Barcelos is gonna be in this fight. So yeah, Talbot by whatever he wants.
I agree, man. I agree. I like the round 2 finish there. Maybe, don't sleep. He's got grappling skills. That was his debut against Nick Aguirre, pure grappler. They gave him a wrestler. They knew Talbot's a kickboxer. They said, can you grapple? He reversed him and submitted him after he hurt him. So he can do it too. And in the comments, you guys are giving respect, which you should, to Raoni Barcelos, who's decorated for sure. He says Barcelos has strong wrestling. He's an animal even at 37, says Brandon Weiss. So respect to that. But I just don't think he's going to be able to do it to him. Train does not stop it for Peyton Talbot at Raoni Barcelos. And then the last fight of the night, it's Bogdan Guskov. He's back after what? Beating Ryan Spann and pissing me off. Taking on Billy Alicana. He's a huge favorite. Mr. Plus, are you a Bogdan Guskov fan?
Not really, but I kind of feel like he might be the right side here against this Billy Alicana. Very unproven. Got some wins in the PFL, and I love the PFL. You guys know me. But just split decision and another unanimous decision. It's just not the same as two Guskov KOs in a row in the UFC. It doesn't really matter who they're against. Zach Pauga, Ryan Spann, both those guys would probably beat the fuck out of this Billy Elkanah guy. So I kind of got to side with my boy, even though I don't like him. Anthony Smith lookalike, Bogdan Guskov.
Yo, Mike Cacolio, my guy in the comments. He says, it's Lionheart. Dude, he's like the cyborg Lionheart. Slick, anything to say about Billy Alicana?
I will say, man, like watching tape from Billy, he's gonna have he's gonna have so many opportunities to land on Guskov and land the KO punch. This is one guy that he as durable as they come, man. Like you say, he went to a lot of decisions. He's been to a lot of decisions. And the one thing that we know about Guskov is once them first 5 minutes is done, we don't know what Guskov, like the guy gave fucking Volkan Oezdemir his fucking first submission in his whole career. Like we don't know what Guskov is going to come out of there. But the one thing that a lot of people Elicana thrives about is his durability. But what proves his durability is him getting hit by so many guys. I just don't know if Guskov is going to have let me rephrase that. I just don't know if Guskov is going to be able to maybe knock out this guy early, but man, is he going to have so many opportunities to knock out Elicana in those first, second, or third rounds. So, hey, man, flip a coin. Maybe you lean Guskov because he's shown they can knock out Ryan Spann. But come on now, like, can we really put a lot of stock into that? Ryan Spann is just one of those guys that you win, you lose, you lose. We don't know what Ryan Spann is going to come into the UFC, into the cage that night. So maybe lean Guskov, but if I was to bet anything on this fight, is that somebody is going to get finished. Guskov is going to get finished. Guskov is going to finish Elicana in the first 9 minutes, or Elicana thrives in that third round and really puts it on Guskov. So I don't know, man. I lean Guskov by KO because I'm just not betting against this guy after that Ryan Spann knockout. So, hey, man, I don't know.
There you go, man. This could have been another contender for banger of the night, but Howland de Ritter took that one. And there are your honorable mentions, guys. We covered every fight on the card. The guys that stuck with us for the whole show, smack that like button on your way out. Leave us a comment and let us know which bet you're going with. If you're going with the Mr. Plus Parlay Bus, if you're rocking with the Slick Report, the Darce Parlay, and everything else we gave to you. Love the live show. And before we get out of here, let's answer Mike's question. He's been firing away all show. Appreciate you, my dude. Most confident straight bet from each of you. Easy call for me. Head out to Moicano, minus 165. I think the line is a gift. I think it should be minus 250 minimum. Mr. Plus, what's your favorite straight bet if you had to make one on this card?
Oh, man. If I had to make one on the card, I'm kind of feeling that one. I like the Moicano. I'm gonna agree with our viewer.
Easy work. Money Moicano. Slick, is it unanimous there, or you got one of your own?
Yeah, I was gonna, give you a nice bet, Peyton Talbot money line, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go with Moicano as well. I really like Moicano in this spot. Maybe throw a little sprinkle on Moicano by finish, but I don't know, man. I like Moicano though.
There you go. In the comments,
my guy said Peyton Talbot money line.
That's what I buy my packages for $100,000 a year. Peyton Talbot money line.
Comment Talbot, and I'll send you.
Yo, that's a bag. You get 50% off all packages. Right. Use code Talbot for
15 unit play.
And then when they go put the code, they be like, Bro, you owe us 1,400.
Yo, my play of the night is Talbot Moneyline, 12 units to win 1. Am I good? I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Good. You got that.
We did the damn thing. Scams, anonymous, not us here at the Darce, giving you the real takes, breakdowns every week on UFC fights. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're rocking with me, Mr. Plus Slick, and Cal on the 1s and 2s. I appreciate every single one of you in the comments. Hopefully you cash on your UFC 311 bets. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Jasmine Jasnovici is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.
The Darce choke is a submission executed from the front headlock position. It involves encircling the opponent's neck with the crook of one's arm, while the other arm wraps around the opponent's arm, applying pressure, leading to a tap or unconsciousness.
Tap into the Darce podcast.